But here's the truth no one tells you. The moment you question a narcissist, you don't start a conversation, you expose a system. And that system will react, not to understand you, to protect itself. If you've ever asked something simple, like, "Why did you say that?" or "Why do I feel worse after we talk?" and suddenly everything exploded or went cold, stay with me, because what I'm about to explain will make your past conversations finally make sense. A narcissist does not hear questions as curiosity, they hear them as danger, because their sense of self is not stable. It depends on control, image, and never being exposed. So when you question them, even calmly, you create a crack in the version of themselves they are desperately trying to maintain, and cracks are intolerable. That's why the reaction feels extreme, disproportionate, confusing. The first move is almost always denial. That never happened. You're remembering it wrong. Not because they forgot, but because reality threatens their identity. If denial doesn't work, the focus shifts. Suddenly, the issue is not what they did, but how you asked, your tone, your timing, your sensitivity. The conversation is no longer about facts, it's about defending yourself. This is not accidental, it's strategic. Then comes gaslighting. Slowly, subtly, you're made to doubt your perception. You're overthinking. You're too sensitive. You always do this. Over time, this doesn't just hurt, it destabilizes you. You stop trusting your memory, your emotions, your intuition. And this is one of the most damaging effects of questioning a narcissist. Not the argument itself, but the erosion of your inner compass. If confusion doesn't stop you, escalation begins. Anger, mockery, withdrawal, silence, emotional punishment. And this is where many people break. Because the pain feels immediate and unbearable. Love is suddenly removed. Affection disappears. And your nervous system learns a dangerous lesson. Asking questions leads to pain. So you stop asking. That's how control is trained. Sometimes the narcissist takes another route. They become the victim. Suddenly they're wounded, misunderstood, attacked. You came looking for clarity. You leave feeling cruel. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to censor yourself. You explain less. You apologize more. You shrink. Here's the truth that changes everything. A narcissist does not want resolution. Resolution requires accountability. What they want is dominance, and dominance is maintained through confusion, exhaustion, and emotional imbalance. That's why every serious conversation feels circular. You never get closure, you get drained. Now pause here for a second, because this part matters. If this is resonating, if you're recognizing your own experiences in these patterns, take a moment to subscribe. This channel is for clarity, not comfort, for truth, not illusion. And if you've lived this dynamic, you know how rare that is. Let's talk about what happens inside you when this pattern repeats. At first, you believe communication will fix things. You choose better words. You stay calm. You try harder. But over time, something shifts. You feel anxious before speaking. You rehearse conversations in your head. You walk on emotional eggshells. Your nervous system stays activated. This isn't love, it's survival mode. Long-term exposure leads to chronic self-doubt, emotional exhaustion, and loss of identity. You don't just feel unhappy, you feel unreal. And here's the hardest truth to accept. No amount of perfect communication will fix this, because the problem is not misunderstanding, it's emotional incapacity. A narcissist cannot tolerate being questioned because it exposes what they work hardest to hide: fragility, emptiness, dependence on control. That's why your clarity threatens them. Which leads to the most important shift of all. Questioning a narcissist is not meant to change them, it's meant to wake you up. The moment you see that every honest question leads to punishment, you're no longer confused, you're informed, and that awareness is power. You stop asking, "Why do they do this?" and start asking, "How does this make me feel? What is this costing me? Who am I becoming here?" Those questions change everything, because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. You stop trying to be understood by someone incapable of understanding. You stop negotiating your worth. You stop explaining your pain to someone who benefits from it. This is where real boundaries begin. Not loud ones, not dramatic exits, quiet ones. You share less, you explain less, you observe more, you reclaim your internal authority. And this is what terrifies a narcissist more than confrontation ever could. Not your anger, not your tears, your detachment. When you stop questioning them for answers and start questioning the relationship itself, the power dynamic collapses. You don't need their agreement. You don't need their validation. You don't need them to admit anything. You need clarity. And clarity is freedom. If you've made it to the end of this video, here's what I want you to remember. You are not difficult. You are not dramatic. You are not too sensitive. You are responding normally to an abnormal dynamic. Questioning a narcissist doesn't make you weak. It means your inner truth is still alive. And that truth is the one thing they can never control. If this helped you put words to something you've lived, like the video and share it with someone who might need it. Awareness spreads faster than manipulation. And that's how these cycles finally end.